Howdy, guys. We doing all right today? I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to Small Town Talk. Um, it's been a little while since I've done one of these, and we're certainly not running out of things to talk about. That's for sure. Everything's going nuts. If you guys haven't paid attention, um, not just to the news, but your social media and everything's going on in the world today is just going absolutely crazy. But what I want to talk about today is really here we are again coming up on another election year, and oh my God, here we go. COVID's coming back again. I mean, do we really think that's just a coincidence? You know, God Almighty, these people are not going to stop. I can tell you that right now. If you haven't figured out by now, not only are they trying to take us out, but they're trying to get complete control over us. 1 second. They're trying to get complete control over us and do away with a bunch of us. And they want us to conform, man. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I mean, they want us to conform to their way. And they don't care what they got to do it. I mean, someone who was in the middle of COVID, I was in the hospital in 2021, you know, it sucked, guys. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Um, which I'm not going to get into my story today, but I was laid up in a hospital for the first time in my life. I'd never been in the hospital before. And yes, I was older, but I mean, I went to the hospital and no, I couldn't even get a visit. And I was there for months before someone could come see me. And then the day they released someone could come see me, they shipped me off to a shithole nursing facility that I stayed in for more months. But it was weeks before anyone could come visit me there. And then half the time when they did, they had to come at my window. I mean, when I have to talk to my kids through a screen, and man, it's rough. I'm telling you right now. Um, but saying that, listen, I know people got COVID. I got COVID, but and I know people died from COVID. I'm not saying that, but haven't we heard enough of the nurses and the people that talk about what was really going on in the hospitals? I mean, hospitals were getting 10 grand to admit you during COVID, and another 30,000 if you were put on a ventilator. You know, they said there was a lot of people put on a ventilator should have never been put on a ventilator, and a lot of people died because of it. Man, the greed in this country it just astounds me, and it's all rolls back into big corporations and big business. You know, it's all about their profits. It's nothing more than their greed and their profits. And I hate to say that because I mean I'm truly a capitalist, but and I believe you should work hard and get what you want, but the problem is the scales have tilted so far the other direction that that's all we do is work. I mean, that's all we can do. I mean, it's nonstop work. We can't even enjoy any of our lives. And that ain't right. And this COVID shit that they're putting out now, it's horrible. I mean, I don't know what these people do they really think we're going to conform to that again? I mean, do they really think that we're going to lock down and put masks on and go out and pump ourselves full of the crap they're feeding us and you know, close businesses? I can tell you guys, I don't think it's going to happen this time. I think they're going to have a huge, huge problem. And it sickens me really Now they've got mosquitoes they're dropping on us that are like they've got some. They say they've got you know um the cure in them. You know what I mean? But the truth is they did that in Florida, and now a bunch of people down there have malaria. We haven't seen malaria in this country in 20 years, and so I'm not real sure what they're trying to do. To be honest with you, you know, I mean, that's what they want, though. They want us all begging for mercy. Please, please come in. I mean, whatever. You know, when you're broke and you have no other options and you have a family to support, I mean, you know the rate of male suicide has astronomically gone up in the past few years, you know? And that's horrible. I mean, that is freaking horrible because men can't even feed their family. They're working their ass off and they can't even make enough money to feed their family and support their family. And they feel like failures. I mean, that's the way men feel, you know? They want to give their kids and their spouses everything they can. And when you can't do that and you're working your ass off, I mean, it's not like you're laying on your ass. You're out here busting your ass as hard as you can, and you still can't do that. You feel like a failure. You don't know what you did wrong. Why you? You know what I mean? It's horrible. But yet the government doesn't care. The government doesn't care. Your boss probably doesn't care. The big corporation you work for, they don't care. You could fall over dead in the middle of their office tomorrow and, oh, we're so sorry. See you later. We got to replace you. Remember that, people. You know, I'm not saying don't work. I'm not saying be a lazy son of a bitch. I'm saying remember that your family is the important thing in your life. You know what I mean? You know, years ago, I mean, I grew up with my grandpa telling me, you need to get a job and you need to stick with it. I mean, that's what he told me. He said, get a job, Chris, and stay there. Because he retired from the railroad, working there 49 years, and that was a good job and a good retirement. But the thing about it is maybe you get a pension working for the railroad now, and you can retire well. But most of the other big business and corporations, it don't work that way. And I watched my other granddad do that, you know, because he was going to work till his full retirement, and here in town, and they basically told him, hey, look, about 5 years before he was ready to retire, said, look, this is what we're going to give you, and you know, it's probably time to retire. Well, I don't want to retire. Well, you know, you ain't got no choice. You can either go with this or get laid off and get nothing. You know, what are you going to do? You know, so I don't know, guys, but COVID is. I know COVID's real, but I mean, I have a little conflict in saying what I'm about to say. I don't, but the truth, because I know people who it's about killed personally. You know what I mean? Who about put them under, and they were young. They weren't old people, and um, and I'm sure there's a list in line of, well, it killed over 1 million people. So yeah, there's a lot of people, but the fact is we go through every year and we have the flu and we have people die from things like that. And when it was just funny how that was all gone. We didn't have flu numbers whenever COVID was here. And you know, I don't I it wasn't as bad as they thought. I mean, we watched Florida go through it and they just simply didn't, you know, agree or do anything that the rest of the government was doing. And their numbers were way better. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I know people are gonna, you know people that they've lost from COVID, or at least what we think was COVID. I mean, because let's be real, people. they called a lot of deaths COVID that wasn't COVID. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like every time they put that damn thing in your throat, that would make it 10 times worse. Kind of funny, you know? Um, I don't know, but I know that it's not going to go over the same way they think it is. You know, I watched a thing where Bill Gates and another lady were talking, and they kind of had a smirk attitude and um, smiles on their face, and they said, "Oh, they're gonna pay attention this time, I promise." So you know, you don't know what they've done. You really don't know how bad that they've made it. You know, it's sad that they're dropping viruses on their own country and spreading them to the world, or you know, I'm. But guys, if you don't believe that, man, you better open your eyes. You better open your eyes. I mean, you when you look at things, if our country, and I promise you, it had something to do with Maui. You know, you saw. I don't know if you pay attention to what's going on in Maui, and I'm gonna have a discussion on that here pretty soon. But man, there is so much evidence stating that Maui is it was a land grab. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. It was a land grab. They've been fighting for 50 years to try to take their land from them, and the people there that are, you know, it's their heritage, it's their land. They said, "Hell no, you're not getting it. We don't care about your damn money. You're not getting our land. You're not turning our city into a circus." You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. And they fought with them a lot. And you know, this sorry ass governor or whatever they've got down there, he's just as crooked as the rest of them. You know, I mean, call me crazy, but I truly believe they dropped a laser on that son of a bitch and burned it to the ground. There's too much proof everywhere. It don't make any sense. And not only that fire, but several others. And then you think, well, what do you mean they got a laser? Well, who? I mean, the rich people are wanting the land. Well, the government's wanting the land. They're wanting to make one of the first smart cities. And the rich people are the government, guys. That's what you got to understand. The billionaires and the corporations and all the business, that is the government. That is who controls us. We have done that to ourselves. We've let it get way too far out of hand, you know? And they went in, and if they'll kill thousands of people for land, God won't, what won't they do? You know what I mean? They simply don't care. When I have said this before, it is a war between good and evil. That's exactly what I mean. These people are evil. And I mean real evil. I mean, it's horrible, guys. The atrocities that they're committing. It's horrible. And I'm going to tell you, they're taking away everything we got. They're taking our freedom of speech. You know, they're taking our right. They're trying like hell to get rid of our Second Amendment rights. And they know what'll happen if they push that issue. They know. And if they don't, they better damn sure find out real quick, because it'd be a lot of bloodshed, I can tell you that. And you know, you can't say anything anymore. I mean, you can't do anything. I've seen people come on fire with podcasts and YouTube videos that have been talking about what's going on in the government, and you know, they're getting in trouble for it. They're getting shut down. Some of them's talking about, you know, what ought to happen to the president as a traitor. You know what I mean? And what happens legally in this country to traitors. And they're knocking on their doors saying, "You can't say that. Did you say that? You can't say that." Well, no, I can say that. I certainly can say that. And you know what? I mean, there's no doubt, you know, they ought to hang. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. They ought to hang. I'm sure I won't get in trouble because I don't have any viewers. But if I did, they'd probably be at my doorstep too, you know. But they don't want you to see anything. They don't want you to see any kind of uprising or people uprising against our government because they don't want you to get any harebrained ideas, you know. But more and more I look and more I do research, I find out all the things that the government's capable of and what the government's done and been doing for years. This didn't just start, guys. This just didn't happen during COVID. These guys have been playing us for years, since before I was ever born. They've been playing us, and they've been playing us hard. And they've had a plan. You know, the World Economic Forum has it in writing what their plans are. And I don't know if you know much about the World Economic Forum, but when I tell you there's a lot of big leaders sitting at the table, that's what I'm telling you. They've all got a plan, and it's not for us. They don't want the middle class there. They want you to be rich or poor, because poor people you can control. Middle class people who have a leg to stand on, they don't tolerate that shit. But when they have you begging for mercy because you can't feed your kids, your family, or pay your house off, and you're living in the streets, you tend to take whatever you can get. You know what I mean? And I know that because I've kind of been put in that position myself. I mean, whenever I got sick, I never figured it was going to be this way. You know, I've worked all my life. I've busted my ass, and I've had several of my own businesses, and I've made a little bit of money. I've not anywhere near been rich, and I haven't even been wealthy, but I've made a decent living, a decent portion of my life. And man, when I got sick, I didn't have insurance. We used to be on Obamacare, me and my family, when I was married, but it went through the roof. It skyrocketed. I was like, screw you. And, you know, I talked to my tax lady. They were going to penalize me if I got off of it. They said, well, the penalty don't cost as much as that. Penalty's nothing. So I got off. I mean, I said, screw them. And it's hard. It's hard to get healthcare insurance. And as a middle class person, you know what I mean? It's hard to be able to afford it. And then whenever you do get it, the first time you make a claim on it, they drop your ass. So, you know, doesn't really matter anyway. So I did without it. You know, I was a business owner, and you know, I've been a pretty healthy person all my life. I've never been in the hospital. You know, I mean, I've been pretty healthy all my life. So I didn't really, I mean, my kids are all adopted, so they were on sooner care anyway. And I didn't feel like I really needed it too much. And, when it happened, I thought, my God, surely they'll take care of me. You know what I mean? Surely I can find some kind of help, you know, with hospital bills and they can. I mean, you know, they can. I mean, they did. They ended up putting me on Medicaid and I've got my disability now, but it took forever, man. It was not easy process at all because I went from making a good decent amount of money to asking for help, and they just basically wanted to search through all my stuff for years and make sure I didn't have some fat stash somewhere and was just trying to ride on them. And you know, I can understand I understand a portion of that. You know what I mean? Check me out, find out. I'm gonna see if I got cash. But you know, for me to jump through hoops when I'm laying in a hospital and I'm losing everything I got as a self-employed person, because if I don't work, I don't make money, you know? And I'm paying all these bills trying to keep my head above water, and it wasn't working, you know? But it took forever. It was a fight. It was a fight. You know, and speaking of the hospitals, I went in with COVID, and man, if they don't stick a tube in your neck, they really don't want to deal with you. To be honest with you, they want you out of their hospitals. They can get somebody in there where they can, you know, hit them up for 30, 40 grand. And it's kind of a shitty situation, really. I hope it doesn't turn bad. I hope that it doesn't get stupid again. But guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I have a feeling it's going to get real stupid. I think now that you guys need to be smart, man. I mean, don't. I know it sounds crazy, but man, go put some water back. Go put some canned goods back. Go put some you know, dry food back. You know, some beans, some rice, some canned goods. You know what I mean? Because that's so minute, and I know times are tough. I know it's hard to spend money on stuff that you just sit back and you don't use. I know that. But there, you know, you can do it in the cheapest way possible and have something. Because if something happens, God forbid if something happens, you know, it's kind of like it's kind of like for me being a Christian. You know, they always say, well, you know what, the atheist says, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I don't waste my time with that. Well, here's my outlook on that. And that is, you know, if I'm a Christian, you know what? And I believe what's going to happen to me when I die. If that happens, that's going to be a glorious thing. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't happen, what did I lose? You know what I'm saying? And if you don't believe in Jesus and you don't, you know, you become a Christian and it's real and you die, you end up in hell. You know what I mean? You definitely have something to lose there. So I'm not trying to knock anybody. I'm not trying to push anything on anybody. I'm just saying, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry, you know? And I think things are going to get crazy. They're going to get a lot worse before they get better. And I hate that. I really do. Um, but whatever happens, guys, stand your ground. You know what I mean? Stand your ground. We still got to be good to people, but we got to watch our back and our heads got to be on a swivel, you know, because if things get crazy, they're going to get real crazy. But hey, you know, just keep watching, listening, and learning. Be diligent, guys. Don't just turn on, your local news and expect to hear what's really going on in the world. Get informed, seriously. And that's all I got for today. God bless. I hope you guys are going to have a really good time. And anyway, have a good day.